encouragement to all of you that your problem sets, your PowerPoint presentations, your team meetings, really matter. And you could also be speaking down here, just like me, maybe in a shorter time frame than 12 years as well. But the main message of what's going on in Thailand synchronizes with, I think, each one of you. It's not just a Thai story, that's the thing. We're gathering here at a pivotal moment. Democracy is in peril. Democracy is under siege. International peace is fragile and fleeting. When I first came here in Cambridge, 2006, according to Freedom House, 48% of the world lived in a free society. Guess what that number is today as we sit here? 20%. That's democratic backsliding. Something is going on around the world. And even the most advanced, institutionalized democracies are seeing those numbers declining as well. Why is that? My argument is this. Going back in time a little bit, during the Cold War, when thriving democracies were flourishing all around the world. At the same time, there was another thing, an economic structure, no matter how you call it, you could call it neoliberal capitalism or things like that. But those things that come out, if democracy is about redistribution of power, but that economic structure that came with it, neoliberal capitalism or anything, however you want to call it, it's about concentration of wealth. When I was born, the inequality in the world within countries, the top 1% and the bottom 50%, that's about eight times in terms of income inequality. And guess what that number is today? 16 times. So 8% of the richest people holds 50% is much more than the bottom 50% of the rest of the world. And that number is essentially true in Thailand also. 1% of Thais hold 67% of the wealth. So you wouldn't blame them, would you? Of why people are questioning democracy at the same time that it's about redistributing power. But then it gives together with an economic structure that is a concentration of wealth. Add that with economic devastation that comes from COVID. So we see that all these things are coming together in a perfect storm that requires not just what's happening in Thailand, it's happening anywhere in the world, no matter where you come from. So now what do we do? How do we create a society or political structure that allows both redistribution of power and redistribution of wealth at the same time? Inclusive growth. And different countries have different ways of doing it. For us, what we propose is that it's a country that focuses not just on profitability. We focus on environment, we focus on land rights, land justice, environmental rights, social welfare state that takes care of our labor, empowering them. So that's like also almost like social democracy to us. And it doesn't matter if you agree or disagree, but it's about really coming together to really think about how we create this architecture of how we proceed going forward. Now, that's Thailand, that's the first part. The second part is that it's not just Thailand, it's all of us right here in this room. The third part is what's that collective action that we can do together? The collective action of, achieving the unachievable. So that we can think about this, I was thinking once we took care of our problems domestically, we demilitarize, we demonopolize, we decentralize, that's when domestic affairs is intact. And then we can start thinking about foreign policy, because foreign policy is a reflection of domestic policy. I mean, it's very hard for you to have credibility and relevance if you go to any other parts of the world or any other countries and tell them what not to do, and then your own country and your own mess you cannot control. So I was hoping that a last change that is just that domestic, in the sense that I wanted to tell the world that Thailand is back, and Thailand means business, and that we're a middle power. We're not a small country. We're the second largest country in Asia. I mean, and together working with the ASEAN countries, if not all, at least the founding members of ASEAN, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, and Singapore. And if we come together, that's $3.6 trillion in terms of economy. That's 670 million people. Any other countries in the world, whether you're a superpower or not, you cannot ignore us. But the point is, because we couldn't take care of our problems domestically, that we don't have the credibility to be like at the core of ASEAN. To really make ASEAN centrality matter is that relevance and credibility have to be right in the middle of it. Myanmar, Russia, Ukraine, Israel, Hamas. These are the things that are happening far away from Thailand, but is really impacting what's going on in Thailand. 56 hostages by Hamas, number 2 in the world. 54 or 56, you have to fact check me. But I think that's according to Israel Foreign Affairs, but it's 18 according to Thai Foreign Affairs. All these things are the things that we really need to look outward to make sure that, we are part of the international community, that we, together with the ASEAN founding members, that we are telling the world that right makes might, and might doesn't make right. That we're returning to middle power, returning together and say that rule-based world order. Thailand is back. Thailand means business. It's meaning that we are reviving foreign policy once again after the absence of maybe the past 10 years during the military coup. We want to be able to rebalance once again. And rebalance in this sense is not taking sides. It's about sticking to principles. We want to be able to criticize our friends and talk to our foes as a middle power. We want to be able to recalibrate the issues of foreign policies when it comes to ties. Usually it's about trades and investment and security alliance with the US. But we want to recalibrate that to be about environment, to be about climate change, to be about gun safety, to be about gun laws. My condolences to the victims, 22 of them in Maine. Our country also faced something very similar at a mall that was done by a 14-year-old. So those are the things that we could recalibrate and share our grief together and learn together and how to come up with solutions together. But the thing is, we still couldn't do that. Then again, collective actions that we needed to come together, to achieve the unachievable, to turn struggles into strength, to turn pain into prosperity, to turn values into victory together. That's really up to all of us. If you do well, but I don't show up, missing in action. If you do well, I'm missing in action. Those are the things that are absent from international architecture when it comes to peace building. So I think there's a part for all of us to do, your part and my part, that we could come together and make this world a better place moving forward. And Thailand will definitely be in the middle of that going forward. So in the next couple of years, I still look forward to be the bridge, people to people with Americans, parliament to parliament, public sector to public sector, private sector to private sector, and lastly, government to government eventually. Thank you so much for your time. That's your turn. Your turn. Okay, cool.
No, it's not my turn. Nobody wants to listen to me here. They're all here for you. And so we have some plenty of time to field questions from the audience.
Absolutely.
Would you like me to recognize people, or would you like to do it yourself?
I'll do it myself.
Okay, good. I figured you would.
That's part of the training as well.
Indeed.